Okay, man.
Welcome to Bob, Randall, and Company live from Branson, Missouri. Here's your host, Bob.
Hey guys, how we doing? Let's bring Randy in at this point. Hey Randy.
Wow, that
See,
was
brother,
great, guys. That was a cool introduction. I love it. Crew.
very cool stuff. That was Nit
Oh.
Randy Elf. He's a fantastic helper, always around to help us, clean up the act a little bit and keep us straight and forward. Fantastic man. It's TGIM, as Randy likes to say.
Okay.
And of course, Randy's still back in Michigan. Show him, Randy. I can't. Okay, it's this there.
Right about there.
There you go. I'm getting better at it. Good job, man. All right, so this is Monday, July 17th, 2023, and this is episode 24, and we are live from Branson, Missouri, School of Santa's 2023, as I just said, in Branson, Missouri. I cannot tell, folks, what kind of whirlwind weekend. It was the whole week because I got here on Monday. Rex, you showed up on Tuesday. Scott got here on Monday, same time I did. And Scott's in the house. He's sitting over here in the gallery, but he's going to join us a little bit. Got Rex Ray with me here. Everyone saw Rex last week when we were live, and me being a big part of what Spangle does, I was getting pulled in 10 different directions, just like Spangle does. I gotta commend Scott though. In the past, we all run around like chickens with their heads cut off, right? Tried to help Spangle do the things that he needs to do to put this production on. This year, Scott brought 8 two-way radios with earpieces. We were all plugged in together. We had communications all over the building, and it made it so much easier to be able to find anybody, including Spangle, when he kept his radio on. Sometimes he would hide from us and turn it off, but most of the time we were there.
And with those earpieces, if we'd had suits on, we'd have looked like the presidential detail.
Absolutely.
Except for the little extra white.
Yep, we sure would have. But Rex did a fantastic job on the show the other night. He said he was standing there talking to AJ. Of course, AJ was on with us and had a guest that we were talking to. Next thing you know, is I'm gone. But they were going off in my ear, and I kept forgetting that everybody couldn't hear what I was hearing. So that was my biggest adjustment, was trying to remember that I'm the only one hearing what's coming through my ear. They're not, and I take off and they don't know where I'm going to or what I'm doing. But
yeah, all of a sudden, from a three-way conversation, Bob's going and I'm going, okay, I guess we'll go on ahead.
But, I knew that Rex was capable of doing it. Rex is one of those guys that can do everything well. There's nothing Rex can't do. So, if you ever have a problem, go to Rex. He's got it covered.
And even I think being the trusty horse Rex is too. I think I seen a little sign there.
That's pretty cool stuff right there. And now, Rex, tell them about what we got going on here right now.
Well, we're right in between schools right now. We just finished up the first session. But, man, what an effort. What a fun time we've had. I mean, those first couple of days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we all worked hard getting lights up, getting sound systems up and tested, and wires everywhere this year. I mean, it looks like a professional production out there, thanks to Scott and all the equipment he has brought. We've got a real soundboard, the whole bit going on. The two-way radios have been a huge help. And then once the school started, of course, it's just fabulous, right? We had some presentations the first day, a milk and cookies reception for everybody to do a little networking. But Spangle surprised everybody even on that one. He brought in a magician to do a live act during the milk and cookies reception.
But wait, the magician brought another magician.
He did. He brought another. I mean, you know how Scott made Bob disappear? This magician made a second magician appear. But and then we got into the keynote presenter for this school.
We had Barney Fife show up.
Well, that's true. I almost forgot. Barney Fife came in the house. We had Barney Fife come in and entertain us a little bit, and he was fabulous. A lot of fun, a lot of laughs, right?
Oh yeah.
And then Friday and Saturday we had our keynote presenter, which was Santa Ed Taylor, off the West Coast, came in and did 2 days of information. Everybody paid attention. Everybody was riveted to what he was saying and doing. It was a great presentation to have Ed live. You know, we usually see him on the little screen here on the computer and stuff, and this time he was live right in front of us, could interact with everybody. Then yesterday, again, it was individual presentations. We had Santa Mel, Melissa Lynn did a beautiful morning service for us. Beautiful job. She had a wonderful sermon about giving gifts and things. It was fabulous. Then we went into some presentations. Deanna Golden. We had Miranda from the Kansas City Reindeer Farm was down and did her. And I tell you, she's more of a comedian. I had to do my presentation after her, and I thought, what an act to have to follow. But she's always hilarious.
We told her she needs her own comedy show. She really does.
She does. She could do it. Then let's see, we had Santa Carlucci and Jenny Lynn did their presentation. Shirley.
Oh man, was Shirley amazing.
Oh man, on how to actually read a book. You know, most of us, the workshops we go to, we all strive to be better storytellers. Okay, she wasn't about telling stories. She was about how to properly read a book to a child. And she gave books to everybody. Everybody got 2 or 3 books from her. Different Christmas story books.
When you came to register, when you come to the registration, you get your name tags and all your credentials and things. Everyone got 2 books apiece.
And she went on, and it was just completely different from telling stories, you know, without something in front of you. And her whole purpose now is she's a 40 years she was a teacher and an educator. So she's got the experience behind her about this. And she was special needs education specialty. But her whole point is to get children back to actually reading books. Try to get them off the phone, off the iPad, actually reading a book. And doing it the way she does it, the child will have the interest to go back and read a book. It was a fabulous presentation.
It was from the hospice group.
Well, we had
John Shuey.
John Shuey was here, did his presentation on dealing with autistic children.
With Santa
America. He'll be back next weekend. Shirley's back next weekend.
Hey, that's the cool part about all this. We get to do it again this week. Whee! But instead of set up, it's tear down. But it always comes down quicker than it goes up.
Isn't that the truth? We've experienced that before.
We sort of ended the whole thing with a panel discussion. And for the first time in history, we made history with this panel discussion because we had 2 Santas and 3 Mrs. Clauses on the panel. So Mrs. Claus was well represented and actually had control of the panel. It was moderated this year, which made it more effective, I think. And we had a lot of really good exchange and discussion during that. And that's how we kind of wrapped up the school then with a pizza supper that night. And we had Elvis in the house.
With Elvis, don't forget Elvis. We had a different Elvis impersonator in last night. He was really good. Really good. Did a fantastic job. And he was funny.
He was hilarious.
Hilarious. He was a comedian, not only, an impersonator, but he was throwing out the jokes like crazy.
Yeah, and he made a little fun of Elvis and himself too. It was great.
Yeah, and what's really cool is a lot of times we talk about staying in character. Well, he stayed in character when he was in character, but between his songs, he kind of came out of character and was himself, which was really a fresh take on an impersonator. Because most impersonators, as we all know, as we do, once you're in costume, you're in costume. You stay in character. But he was slipping in and out. It was a really cool. I thought it was a great presentation.
It was. He did a wonderful job.
It worked for him. It may not work for Santa and Mrs. Claus, but it worked for him. Now, we did break another record.
That's right, we did.
We broke another record.
One night out at one of the shows, we went to the Legends in concert, right? Had Kenny Chesney, Lady Gaga, the Blues Brothers, Michael Jackson, and Elvis Presley all performed. And during one of the Elvis songs, he invites the audience to come down in front of the stage and sing or dance.
Or in place.
Or even in place. And he told us, he said, the record we've ever had in this theater in doing this were 34 couples. He said, tonight I'd like to break that record. And we did. With all the Santas and Mrs. Clauses there, we had 54 couples.
Pretty cool.
That's super cool.
It was
Wow.
all the lower seating, which is 2/3 of the theater, was full. And lucky for us, when we do the parade, we have blockers that block off the intersection. Scott, myself, Santa Mel, Eric and Moesha were all blockers. Rex was in the truck with Scott and Martin. And so being blockers, we sat there to the whole parade is gone, and then we file into the back. We start off in the front, but we end up in the back, is what I'm trying to say. And so we're the last ones to the theater. So when we go in, we're at the back of the crowd. Well, they offered us to sit in the lower. Pardon?
You get an aisle seat that way.
Yeah, you get an aisle seat that way. Well, the usher said, I reserve this lower the first row in the upper balcony right here for you guys in case we had overflow. And so the TNL crew got together with Eric and Moesha and Santa Mel and John Rickard and Rex, Scott, myself, Mitt Ram, my wife. Who else did we have?
AJ was up
his
there
mom
with us.
and dad, all set up there, and it was so much cooler. We could feel the air instead of being crammed in, a little bit tight down in the theater itself. And
well, if you saw the video we posted on the TNL Facebook page of the dancing and stuff, that was taken from up in that balcony. We had such a good view of it to film that.
It's really ground level because the auditorium flows downward. So we were at right inside the entrance from the lobby areas where we were at. But it was really cool.
Really cool. All the representation of the signage, School of Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday Night Live, all of it was on the billboard and in the show.
I don't know if you got a chance to watch, Randy, but yes, the Tuesday Night Live and the Monday show was up on the big screens at the theater. School of Santas was up on the big screen at theaters. Fantastic time.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, now the first outside the school entertainment we went to was the Chinese Shanghai acrobatic circus, right? And through that whole show, it was fabulous. It was wonderful. I never got out of my seat, but watching them, I broke one hip and 3 bases.
All right, so I want to grab a comment or two here real quick while we got a chance, Randy, if you don't mind. I know Randy is with us. He's not, but we wanted to cover Branson real quick.
Oh man, you guys! I'm glad you guys. This is great. I missed it all. I feel horrible. Just love to hear about it. Just such a great week.
I'm not sure who that is. Jerry's watching today from Michigan. Ben Bellhorn says, "Hey everyone, registration is open. We are nearly half full for the Master Classic. We'll talk more about here in a moment." AJ said he had one of the best times ever. Tracy Ruck said School of Santa week 1 was a blast. Can't wait for week 2. They're staying over. And those who watched the other night, Diane B.N., and I finally got her name correct. She slapped me across the face and said, "Get it right, Bob." Just kidding. But anyway, she says they just made it home a half hour ago, back to St. Louis. Good to have you on, Diane. It was such a pleasure meeting you in face. And gosh, we got to go outside in the hallway and chat for quite some time till they were screaming in my ear, and I had to come back in and get back to work. But,
I'll tell you what, we have met a ton of TNL viewers and Bob Randyl and Company Live viewers. It's just amazing how many folks walked up to us and said, "Oh, we love you on Tuesday Night Live or on the Bob Randyl and Company show."
I'm blown away, Randy. I didn't realize that we had. I mean, I know that the numbers are there because we go back and review our replay numbers. And you say that 2 weeks in you've got 500 plus hits. 500 plus people are watching, but I was amazed at all the folks that were here that came up. And of course, we got this wonderful booth set up here. We've got a banner out in the main, right by Scott's station where all the sound equipment is. This table that we're sitting at has our cover on it, which also has one of these giant logos on the front of it. And we're right here in the main vendor room, and we, just fantastic time. I can't harp on how much fun we've had.
This has been a blast.
We get to do it again.
Incredible. And you're only halfway done. You're this much craziness, and you're only halfway done.
Exactly. But you know what? One of the big fun things for me is, for the first time in a long, long time, I'm the rookie here, learning how to set all this up and get things right. And running around with microphones and things. So I get to be a rookie again.
So you can teach an old dog new tricks, huh, Rex?
It's possible.
And with all that said, I want to commend again Scott Saraton again. He went out and bought us a new webcam that does live streaming, also recording, has a zoom factor. Do it for him, Rex. Look at that. Is that not cool? And it's sitting on my daughter's tripod. He went out and purchased a set of roll-around wheels that the tripod sits on. We can take that tripod, that professional-looking studio camera, and wheel it anywhere we want to go. It has its own mic, its own light set up on it. I'm ashamed that we don't have a picture of it, but well,
I think the box is
the box is back there. But anyway, pretty cool stuff. But I gotta tell you guys, we tried to hook it up, and it was smarter than I was. They always say be smarter than what you're working with. This old dog here didn't have a clue.
Neither did this one.
And neither did Scott. And Scott's technical. He's technical. He's techno with all the sound equipment, audio, visual. But this is a new gadget. This gentleman right here came in one morning, sat down, and got it working in a matter of lickety split. So anyway, one more quick.
Bob, I can't do it. If it doesn't have pictures, I can't do it.
I know.
Read, I
know. One more quick story before we move along. I know we've taken up a lot of time, Randy, and thank you.
Oh, no. Yeah, this is fantastic. I love this.
But I'm getting hungry.
Well, it's getting there. One more quick story. There is another Santa Bob that has, excuse me. Well, sorry. I forgot to turn my phone off. Someone from Branson is calling, and I'm not sure who it is. Maybe Tanya. But anyway, there's another Santa Bob that lives in Alabama. Robert Ayer, A-U-E-R, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. I met him through Spangle when Spangle went down to Alabama with his trailer months ago. I was friends with him on Facebook, but you know how that goes. Got Facebook friends that you don't know. And Spangle said, I have found your twin. And I said, no way. He says, do me a video call with me. I want to show you this guy. It's scary. It's scary. Santa Bob and Santa Bob look like. Now, here's the proof. 3 different people the first day went up to him and was telling him how much they liked our shows.
Oh, no way. Oh, my goodness. That close, huh? Wow.
Unbelievable. He says, no, wrong Santa Bob. And they look at him and go, what?
Now, and we're not taking anything away, Matt. I don't want Bob to feel slighted, but we also have a couple of Ivans that were here. So we had an Ivan and a wrong Ivan. Because he'd tell it, somebody would walk up and ask him something, and he'd say, no, I'm the wrong Ivan.
Wrong Ivan.
So I told him that's his name at every convention and everything he goes to now. He's wrong Ivan.
All right, so let's move along. Randy, tell us about how the weather is in Michigan. That's where we always.
Oh man, it's been beautiful. It's beautiful time right now. Last night it was 66 degrees. Last night sleeping, and today it's in middle upper 70s. It's just gorgeous right now. We've been very fortunate. We do have that weird smog fog coming again up here from Michigan, all the way down from Canada again. We have a high alert on breathing till tomorrow afternoon, but yeah, we still get it here from Canada since we're that close. But
88 here today, brother. 88. That feels so much better than 108 in Dallas.
And on the screen here, it says that 88 is a record high for Branson today.
Oh, wow.
I think I may have to think about moving here.
Well, I'll tell you what, Branson's got everything. They get a little bit of snow. They got the hills and rolling, small mountains, theme parks, the theaters, every kind of eatery you can think of. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful area. Got the lakes, got the White River, got everything going on. Really, really a special place in the heart of America.
All right, Bob, I'm getting really hungry.
Okay, let's go on. Angela, let's go ahead and do the something burger at this point.
I understand, Rex, why you want it. It does make you hungry. Even I had lunch a little over an hour ago.
Well, see, I was trying to be a good boy today, and I had just a salad for lunch.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Because of all the hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff we'd had. but I'm getting a hankering for what I just saw.
Yeah, well, so that grill cooking the other day on that video certainly looked pretty good. You guys were doing there, cranking out that many burgers for 100 and some odd people and dogs.
We had a system going. I was loading them on the left-hand side, which was the hot side of the grill. And once they cooked for about 2 minutes, I would flip them over to Rex, and he'd finish the second side, and he'd turn them over one more time to make sure it was hot on both sides, throw them in the pan. And we had a great system going. We had
do you remember Lucille Ball and her friend at the chocolate factory?
Oh, yeah.
Bob and I at the grill. That was Bob and I at the grill. I had a hot dog on a fork that I was taking bites off of as we were
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Sure it was.
AJ, I saw in the comments there, he said the hamburger and hot dog sure were good. So you definitely got a thumbs up for cooking, you know?
Really hot. They brought us out a pitcher of ice water. I'm talking about with ice in it in glasses. And Jody that worked in the kitchen, she brought us a tub of ice water with ice in it with towels put around our necks. And, of course, I lost every bit of the hair on this hand. The flames were shooting this high. We had a squirt bottle trying to keep the flames down just long enough to flip the burger, and then right back up they come.
So what's the
trials and tribulations of being a chef, you know?
Burger, 2 topics as always. Randy always goes first. Randy, take it from here.
All righty, guys. Again, this is the participation part of the show. You guys can join in and let us know what you think and everything on our questions. My topics are basically one: how many years have you been either Santa or Mrs. Claus? How many years? How many years do you think you'll continue? 5, 10, 15? And probably the biggest question is, what would make you hang up the suit? How many years have you been Santa? Just curious. 5, 10, 15, 20, 40, Rex, 50, 100? How many ever Rex has been? And how many more years do you think you continue being Santa or Mrs. Claus? And what would make you hang that suit up? Is there some kind of something that would just say, hey, that I'm done, you know? How about you, Rex? How many years has it been, Rex, Bob?
Well, this is my 53rd year of performing as Santa Claus. Okay. 22 of that was with my wife as my Mrs. Claus. Okay. And my prayer is I will continue to do it for as long as possible.
Is there something that you would decide to say, hey, look, I'm either if you can't walk or if you just whatever, what would be or you just tired of it?
If I felt, and I've had a few friends already go through this, that through infirmity or some reason that it wasn't safe for me to have a child on my knee or to interact in some way, then yeah, I'd hang it up, because I don't want to put any young person in any kind of danger that I might not have the grip to hold them or catch them, whatever. That's probably the only thing that would make me step away and hang up the suit.
How about you, Bob? How many years again, Bob?
I'm on my 14th season, being my 11th as the Townie Small Santa there in Mesquite. Was independent for a couple of years, and me and my wife, did the thing where Santa and Mrs. Claus couples do. Now, for me, as far as hanging it up, I've always said, as long as I'm like Rex, capable of still performing the job, still able to get around and still have my mental cognitive factors working, then I'm going to continue to do it. Now, there's a time comes though that we don't have to push ourselves as hard as we normally do.
Yeah, most
of us are still young enough that we do try to do as much as we can, because we know the children and the families need us. There's a point though that's going to come where we can step back a little bit, where we don't have to work the long hours. I work at the mall, and I work, being the only Santa there, it is long hours. But as long as I can do it, Randy, I think I'm going to do it.
I've already cut way back from the things I used to do. I used to do home visits and parades and corporate events and fill in at the big box sporting goods store and all of that. And I've cut way back. I don't do home visits hardly at all anymore, except for about 3 free ones we give to needy families every year. I still do a few corporate events, but not near the level I used to, just because through aging, it's not as easy to do all that shuffling around, traveling, scheduling, everything. So yeah, I've cut back. I still have a very full season, but it's not doing the same things.
Yeah, that's what that's where I feel the same thing. I mean, that's been 35 plus years. And, how many more years for me? I don't know. It's like you said, you guys said it's for my health. It depends upon exactly what Rex Bob said. As long as I can do it safely, and I know I can give 100% to the children and the family, I guess that'll be the time for me to hang it up. So we've got some people. We got Melissa here that's saying, "Hi, Mel." She said celebrating 30 years as Santa. Uh, I think to keep going, and I can't do the quality performance anymore. And I think that's probably going to be the biggest answer of everybody here. Is the bottom line is that we want to give 100, 150%, which can't really give 150%, even though we want um, to the children and the families. And when we feel we can't, that is probably the Santa. Jamie says the same thing. He's been doing it 4 years and just can't, health wise, can't do it anymore. Either walking or I knew a Santa that used a scooter, and I kind of going, I don't know if I would actually be Santa if I know I had to get around in a scooter. I don't know if that would be, that would probably mess with my mind to think that children are going to see me in a scooter. Um, like Mel says, again, safety first. And that is what Rex says, safety first for the children, that it's safe to get them up there, that you interact and have your mental faculties also on the whole thing. Because, we all lose a few things up here for many different reasons through life. And that can go. And we want to make sure that we always keep our backstories and our talking right with the children. Jerry, hi Jerry, good to see you. 15, 20 years, been since he's in his 70s. I will do it as long as I'm doing good, and that's that. I think that's going to be the best answer, and I think that's probably the only answer. I mean, I can't see if any of us here that are going to say, I don't like doing it anymore. I just don't know anybody here that has that feeling. They just don't want to do it anymore because of the love for the children. Um,
God willing, and the creek don't rise.
Ben's if I find myself not enjoying it or not taking it seriously, um, and it's kind of the same thing. If you just don't, and I don't, man, I can't see you not taking it seriously or not caring. Man, you do a phenomenal job, and so do every Santa's here. But I can understand if there is other things in life, I guess that does maybe take you away, even if it isn't a health problem, that you can't concentrate or uh, really put that 100% into the children. I guess that would be another great reason. I mean, that's probably what Ben's trying to say also, that there are things in life besides health that can take you away from giving your 100%.
I'm not sure, Randall, if you saw Tracy Rooch's comment up there that they're going into their second season. And hi, Tracy.
No, I don't think I missed that one, Rex. Thank you for seeing that. Appreciate that.
It was good seeing you guys here at the school. And same thing.
There we go.
Plan to continue until health
allows it. I think. Thanks, Tracy. Sorry about that. Then Facebook user says 8 years. What Bob says when his body says no more. This was be 3 years for Ben. Another Facebook user. I've been doing Mrs. Claus for 8 years. I think I am. Who is that? That's Sean. Hi, Sean. How are you? Good to see you. 8 years. I think I'm this as long. I'm in for the long haul. Yeah, I agree. In for the long haul, at least, like I said, until health help. I would never want to look unhealthy as for the children, and that's where I think is a good thing. Not looking unhealthy, because Santa's supposed to be spry and energetic and smiling and everything else. And we all know a teacher in school that she should have hung up her teaching thing because she's older or he's old and crotchety. He should have stopped teaching because they're just not doing it anymore. And I don't think we would do that. Hi, Bart. We are using virtual visit, longer range strategy, which is a great thing that we can physically can't get around. That's what's a great advantage for virtual is, like Rex said, sometimes you just can't get around as much, or especially in the Northern Territory, you got to worry about all the bad weather. You can extend your years as Santa since you love it so much in virtual. Very cool. Facebook user 44 is Shannon McCann. I hope I said your last name right, Shannon. Sorry about that. 44 years. Wow. That's fantastic and loving it. That's fantastic. Hopefully keep it up for another 40. Well, maybe not 44 more years.
And a little shout out to Shannon. Shannon and some of the guys were sitting down in the break room the other night when it was at the beginning of the week, and Chris and Shannon are sharing a room, right? So Santa Chris and Santa Shannon. And he tells me, he said, "Have you been up on the second floor of this building over here yet?" And I said, "No, I'm up on the third floor." He says, "Well, just walk down the hallway, and you'll see what I'm talking about." And everyone would tell me what it was. So we got through that night. I got up on the second floor instead of third floor, and their door was the first one to the right of the elevator. They had decorated their hotel door with a big wreath with Tuesday Night Live or School of Santas. I don't remember what all they had on there, but they had all kinds of little neat, cool stuff. Their names on there. It was such a cool touch. I said, that should be a trend. Every time the Clauses get together and go to an event, we ought to all decorate our doors.
All right.
Now, take that to the next level, and let's have a contest and decide who wins the turkey.
Wow, very cool idea. Very cool thing. Very cool, Shannon. That was
job,
great.
Shannon, by the way. Good to see you this weekend. Enjoyed sitting down in the break room, swapping stories with you guys, you and Chris Dennings, who I'm speaking of, and Shannon McCain. All right, so we got any more here?
Randy and Debbie Neely and Branson showing around last night. Really appreciate it. That's from
right. They showed up yesterday. They were the first ones in for the second week.
Wow, already in. Fantastic.
So pretty cool. They're from the Dallas area. They're new. They've just jumped into with both feet, and Texas State Santa's at that. So the group. So fantastic. It was good to see them. Now,
welcome, Randy and
Deb. Move along right here, Randy. There's something I want to do. I kind of wanted to do it at the top of the show, but we felt like we needed to get through the Branson recap, and then we went on into here. But before I go on and ask my question, I want to do something here. I don't know how many of it. I think most everybody by now has heard that Santa Barry Cummins, my co-host on the Bob and Barry show, the predecessor to this show here, and was my co-host on Tuesday Night Live for a year and a half, passed away this last week, and it was quite shocking. 58 years old. I don't think he actually had turned 58 yet. I think he was still 57. But such a shocker for everybody. I think everybody agrees that Barry was a good guy, fantastic Santa, and we just want to send our condolences out to Tara, his daughter, who is going to miss him dearly because they spent so much time together. And I'd like to bow our heads for a moment in silence and commemorative of Barry Cummins. Thank you. I got shook up there and couldn't even talk. I'm sorry.
Totally understandable.
Was one of the Alabama Santas, and I think Jamie went to the service yesterday. If so, he can put a little comment into the comment box and tell everyone. But Jamie and Barry come to my Sat Bob school 2 different times, and Jamie was part of Barry's flight presentation the second time around in Dixon, Tennessee, and we all had such a good time. And he's going to be missed. Just keep his daughter Tara and, like I say, the rest of the family in your prayers, please. Okay, anything else we want to add to what Randy had going on there, or are we ready to move on?
I think we're ready. Had a lot of great answers as always. A lot of great answers. Thank you guys very much.
All right, so we're going to move on to my question. When working with photographers, do you go with a verbal agreement and handshake or a contract? Now, that is something that came up on Facebook this last week, something that was even discussed here in some of the discussions we had here this weekend. I put this script together last week, so pretty amazing that it was still carried over this week in some of the conversations. Always keep anything you might get electronically, be it a email or text communications, as that can help if you only go with a verbal and a handshake. Remember, any electronic data that you can save, because you never can tell with a handshake. Used to, it was good. We're living in a different time nowadays, guys. If you decide not to do contracts, that is, which means contract is always the best policy, believe me. You can ask this gentleman right here. He's probably been around the ring more than I'll ever go.
And I'm a Gordon Bailey acolyte when it comes to this. The contract is the only way to go.
You know, an alternative is to do a verbal agreement and then follow up with electronic communications by detailing what you both have agreed to as in an email, text, RPM, and messenger via Facebook even. Then ask for a return email from them stating that they agree. That is as good as a contract as long as you keep all your documentation. Would you say it would hold up in court if you had that?
Yeah, if you have documentation, even electronic, make sure you keep it. Don't lose it. Print it. File it. Because my lawyers tell me that is legal documentation, that there was a verbal agreement in place. Now, and when it came up here, the same subject, one of the question was, you know, how many different types of contracts do you use? I happened to be on the panel at the time, and my thing was I only have 2 different contracts that I use. One contract is for home visits, parades, corporate events, parties, whatever. That contract has enough blanks that works for any kind of event you want. The only other contract I use is I have a separate contract I do with photographers. Okay? It's a completely different type of contract because of copyright issues, owning of images. You know, I own my image, but the photographer owns the photographic image by law. Okay? So I have a contract that allows them to give me certain copyright rights to use certain images and things. And that doesn't need to be in any other kind of contract. But again, I am very much a Gordon Bailey acolyte in that in writing. It has to be in writing.
Now, it's amazing that we start this topic, and who should walk into the room? Jessica Rosa, photographer. Did you hear what the topic is?
I heard copyright, so that made me go, what?
Yeah, she turned around and looked as soon as I said
She
that.
stopped in her tracks. Come on over, Jessica.
Okay.
I want you to have a seat for a moment. Join us for just a
Okay.
second.
Here, we can zoom this up.
So I'm assuming we're talking about agreements.
Yes, we are, and we're right here on this outline, and that was what I just posed to our audience. Now, you guys, this is the participation portion, so put in your thoughts, put in how you handle these situations and what you think is best. That's what this is about.
Okay. Well, all right. From my point of view, and I can only share that because as a photographer, I've been one for a really long time. So I can only share.
Really? You only look 18.
I know.
I'm thinking 19, but
I'm not Generation X. I was 30 at 10 years old, and I'm 50. I'm still 30. No, here's the truth about working with contracts is in photography. Everything is subjective. There is not a standardized form for what you elect to choose to do for an event, for just even like a photo session, you know, like I guess what I'm trying to kind of work into this is that it's not a contract. The only way it becomes a contract is when it's notarized. So by legal standards, it's an agreement. Okay. Get everything in writing, or at least have some written documentation, even if it's communication, like, you know, when I work with photographers, Santas and stuff like that, I like to state the terms, you know, in like, even in a text message, I like to say, okay, we're going to do this date at this time for this amount. You know, I like to try and get those specifics, you know. I'm going to, you know, because I'm a part of the community and I know and I understand about getting the images to use them for advertising and stuff like that. You know, I tried to be a little bit more forthcoming with that. But a photographer who's doing portraits and you know and stuff like that, as soon as that photo session is over, like let's say they do a Santa gig and they do 20 sessions. they're focused on those clients. They're absolutely running down the track as fast as they possibly can to get those images done for those clients, because the clients are wanting to get their Christmas presents. They still have to, and some Christmas presents take 3 to 6 months. I mean, 3 to 6 weeks, not months. Mine, it might be longer, but 3 to 6 weeks to get, some of those things done, because all of those places are busy at those time of year, when you get down to it. So a verbal agreement is good, but if you can, just get it in a text message, get it in a, some form of acknowledgement that this was the parameters. A lot of times people want to say, well, my photographer was supposed to give me images and they never got around to doing it, and all that stuff. Contact them after the first of the year, because the season has wound down. And the best way to do that is to maybe even meet with them and say, hey, would you like to get together for a cup of coffee and talk about the photo shoot that we did? I can bring you a USB drive and you could give me a couple of images. Do what you can to make it easy for them, because if you expect them to mail you a USB, or CDs used to be kind of the thing, or even to do it online, if you send the images online and from somebody that sends a lot of photos through the internet, it's a 50-50 shot on whether or not it's going to go through. That's why I like working with Messenger. The problem with Messenger is that it's Facebook and they alter the image. So they alter the color profile, they alter the size of the image. So if you get images through Messenger, you don't want to print those. That's the reason why I provide a USB, because I have the printable files and then I have the web files. Web files on the most are going to look pretty similar and stuff like that. But get everything and in some form written, because it just keeps, and this is what I used to tell my wedding clients. It keeps you honest and it keeps me honest. And if I don't do my end of the bargain, then you've got something that says that I didn't do it, and then I've got something that says this is what I was willing to provide.
Exactly. And that was the point we were trying to make, is how's the best way to handle, because I saw a post this last week also where a gentleman said he went and did some promo shoot photos the lady was supposed to share, but it was a verbal agreement and she did not share. He come on Facebook and was asking the question. That's kind of where my question came from. Mm-hmm. But I think that they resolved that afterwards. And I said, I believe it was a male photographer, but they resolved that issue after he had came on the initial post and talked about it.
I see we've got a bunch of comments from the viewers here. So Ben Bellhorn's put up that contract, and he did this in all caps, folks. So he's a firm believer in what he's saying. Contract, always, even for any visit I'm doing for free, always a contract. Thanks, Ben. Deanne then says, I learned to always get a contract, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of us have been doing this for any length of time, have probably been burnt a time or two before we've got that ingrained in us. Bart Gaffney says a contract, period. He's got to have it, right? A Facebook user, I'm not sure who this is because I don't have access, but says, I've done verbal, worked out fine. Jamie Dozier out there in the Cotton State Santa says, yes, sir. I did it. Was a beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry. This is about the funeral. We'll come back to that one in a minute. Okay. Tracy Roosh here right here in Branson says, depends. Have done it both ways in the past, but we are moving the contracts for all, something we learned at SOS. So again, it was great having you guys here, Tracy. Santa Jamie Dozier, another Cotton State Santa. I do a contract or an email verification. And again, that's what my lawyers have told me. If I can get even electronic verification, print it, have it, that's considered a legal agreement. Let's see, Deanne Venn wants copies of my contracts. Bart Gaffney again would have a copy of the contract, Santa and Mrs. Claus at LakeCountrySanta.com. Would love to copy the contract. Okay. Facebook user again. I have done the verbal in the past, but this year I'm leaning towards a written contract. Okay. Santa Jamie Dozer again. I have a USB drive. That was my name, and give it to the photographer for his photos is what it's saying, right?
Even if you provide the USB drive and put a tag on it or something like that has your name on it, and then the photographer is able to do the images, and then you can say, hey, would you mind if I swing on by and pick up that USB, or can you drop it in the mail, hang it on a doornail outside your door? I can get it. It's not that the photographers don't want to share. It's just that a lot of them are one-armed bandits. So they're like doing everything. They're answering their emails, they're editing their images, they're taking care of their customers, they're doing the photo shoots, they're maintaining their gear, they're setting up for new sets. It's a lot of hats.
And listen, folks, that's the voice of experience. Pay attention, okay? Because Jessica knows. And Melissa Lynn says, hi, Jessica.
Aww.
So typically, Melissa Lynn wants a contract, but have done it both ways. Ben Bellhorn again. If it works out fine every time until it doesn't.
Yeah, Santa Mark was the Santa that said I've never had a problem with contract. He doesn't do contracts, and it's exactly what Ben says. It a lot of times it works out fine, but like you said, Rex, most of us gotten burned somewhere in all our years. That's where a contract comes on, a special thing. You don't get burned. We're both on the same page. That's what's
do so many
necessity.
performances, not only as Santa, but with your magic tricks and shows and everything that you do. So I mean, you probably, I don't know how you keep up with all the paperwork.
Here's another one with great experience. Carl White writes, and hi Carl, glad to have you watching today. Everyone gets a written quote engagement agreement unquote that specifies expectations, cost, and payment terms.
Yeah, see, that's exact. I don't call mine a contract either. Like I've been saying for years, I just call it a performance confirmation. And to me, a contract scares people away, but it's exactly what Carl says. It puts me on the same page as them and them on the same page as me. So there is no gray areas. They sign it, I sign it, they date it, I date it. And it's just like a contract. It just we know we're all on the same page. There isn't any thing, that what you talked about verbally is written down. So and done it sometimes explicit. You can just do a house visit. You can say I'll be there at 6 o'clock and 20 minutes to do Santa, and you send it off. It could be that easy, or it could be very explicit. Like Jessica says, you can be, I get, some photos afterwards and so on and so forth. And,
I've photographed over 600 weddings, and I've never been taken to court or, I mean, I've made some mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we've missed a few shots and like missed the kiss a couple of times, the cake, I've had cake thrown at my camera, and I'm like, dude, sorry.
Thought you were at a Santa convention, didn't you, instead of a wedding?
It's hard to get you, doing your first bite on your cake when I'm wiping cake off the lens. It's just there was the moment when the bride was coming in and the gift table was on fire because somebody thought candles and crepe paper went together, and I'm running down trying to get a fire extinguisher, so I didn't get the bride coming in. I mean, there's a lot of stories I could tell with that, but out of all of those weddings, I always came into it with an agreement, and it wasn't just the date, the time, and the services provided. It was also conditions. Like, for example, if there was another contracted photographer there that compromised my ability to perform my job, like if there's an event that has a secondary Santa booked at the same event, I mean, I think that should nullify your agreement. And that's what I said, because how can I perform my job if I'm competing for position and attention and everything else because you hired another professional? Now, if you would like for me to work with another professional because you want that professional skill set and my professional skill set, then we need to collaborate. And that needs to be known beforehand. It needs to be arranged. It needs to like, okay, you're going to do it here and I'm going to be here. And, you know, there's ways to work with that. You don't have to be like, well, there was another photographer there, so I left. Well, you know, and I would never really kind of put somebody in that kind of position, but I also don't want to be put in that position myself. I mean, could you imagine if you showed up to an event and there was already another Santa there?
It's happened.
You know, that's that. I mean, and the part that bothers me is that the client put you in the position of being the bad person.
Well, and thanks, Jessica. I mean, this worked out perfect that you walked in right as this came up. We really appreciate your input on it because it's been very helpful, right? But I see our comments have slowed way down.
Okay.
We got just a couple left. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
It was lovely having you here.
Thank you.
Let's see, the last couple of comments. Ray Bradshaw writes, I always send a formal agreement.
I wasn't prepared to be on TV.
Ben Bellhorn calls his the event plan. Everett Prostello writes he's on his way home. Yes. Be careful, Everett. You got a long way to get back to Georgia over there, the far side of Georgia. So you guys drive drive safe.
You got a bad case of the bobs.
I did. I got a bad case of the bobs, right? All right. So I think let's see, Carl White's got one more here. He says he agrees, Jessica, I added a clause in my 2023 agreements to ensure that I am not surprised by another Christmas character after a bad experience with a Buddy the Elf surprise guest at my event. So
hey, you never know.
You never know.
Because if someone independently or even corporate events, you never know.
Well, when I write one for a parade, one of the things I put in is that if I'm the official Santa for that parade, there can be no other Santas, even dressed up on other floats. Not, it just can't happen. It's there, okay? Because we don't want to confuse anyone. So.
Okay, so I think we've covered this extensively. Fantastic segment, Randy. Gosh, we've almost gone an hour already just between the Branson and this. I do want to go back up real quick and catch that comment that Jamie gave on Barry, if we can, and then we'll move right along, guys. I think we've got a great audience. I think everyone's staying with us or all participate. By the way, Tracy's wife is Zil. Z-I-L. That's her elf name. We decided that when they were here decorating. Her and my wife were decorating the trees and stuff. That's Liz backwards, of course. Yes, sir, I did. It was a beautiful ceremony. Tara was doing the best she could. We had 10 Santas at the funeral, about 10 to 12 at the visitation. Fantastic, Jamie. That's good. Thank you for putting that up, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
now,
I know that.
And along that line, I want to mention one thing. All of this sudden unexpected expense has fallen on his daughter, Tara. She's having to shoulder the expense, all the final expenses, funeral and all of this. So if you feel like maybe you can help, go to the Cotton State Santas Facebook page. Just do a search for Cotton State Santas. Their president, Steve Rusk, has a post. I think he's pinned it close to the top, where he's asking folks that want to donate. What they're asking is donate 1 hour's pay that you would get this year during the season towards those expenses.
Very good. Thank you, Rex.
Very good.
All right, Randy, are you ready to move along to our trivia for the day?
Sure are. Yes, yes, yes.
Well, lead us in. We'll see you right here on the other side.
See you in a minute.
Hey everyone, Elf Angela Mack here for Bob, Randyl, and Company Live. The show about nothing. Bob, Randyl, and Company Live is brought to you by Santa's Closet. Santa's Closet has been delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since 2004. Santa's Closet's main goal is to provide both a superior customer experience with tremendous value for their customers. Santa's Closet brings more than 400 separate products to the Claus community at a reasonable price. Santa's Closet is under new ownership. Let's welcome Santa Wade and Scarlett Kaufman of Tennessee, whom will continue the tradition of bringing you products of unparalleled quality and design. Don't forget to visit their sites at santascloset.org and support their efforts of bringing quality products to the community. This is Angela Mack reminding you to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randyl, and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
All right, Randy, I finished the script last night after everything was over with late last night. My brain just wasn't into getting and doing a lot of research, so I came up with this question. Let's see how many people know the answer to this. I'm going to pass it over to you, my brother.
Oh yeah, let's see if this is should be a easy question, but you never know. Name the founders of Santa Nana Holiday University and Santa and the Business of Being Santa. Name the found. No, Rex, you're in timeout. Name the founders of Santa Nana Holiday University and Santa and the Business of Being Santa. Name the founders, guys. Curious. See who knows it, because you won't believe the things that are going on next year in February with these two groups blending together will be incredible.
We had one of our committee meetings this morning here in Branson. A couple had to Zoom in. The rest of us were here. 2 hour and 15-minute, very, very, very productive meeting. And I tell you, folks, we were rolling down the hill like a snowball out of control. We have got. I mean, we can't really talk about everything, but just stay tuned. Let's leave it at that.
It's going to be
any answers coming in yet?
Two phenomenal.
I see at least, I see a couple answers coming in.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see
two phenomenal schools blending together. It will be, like I said, it will be an event, not just a school. It'll be an event, guys. You can't miss. San Antonio, besides, there'll be some nice weather. It should be. Maybe a little chilly, but what a better place to go in February than any place north. So
yeah, the good part about Texas as a whole, and especially southern Texas, is we get these fronts that move through from up, you guys' way, Oklahoma, where Scott lives, and of course, from the Canadian border, but they don't stick around. I mean, 24 hours, it may, drop into what we call down here cold weather, 20s, but the next day it's back up to 50s or 60s. So, I mean, the weather's never bad very long. So even if you come, which we're looking at 3 days.
Yep.
We're looking at we're going to stretch it to 3 days. That's right, 3 days.
Yep. We'll go ahead and say that right now. It's going to be 3 full days.
3 full days. And but the weather will be nice part of the time you're there, guaranteed. All right, looks like we got some good answers coming in. Let's go ahead and do our exit video and come right back after this. All right, this brings us to the Up and Chatterbox News, and of course, we're going to bring Spangle the Clown in with us here real quick. And yeah, we still got people lingering around here all first part of the week here, and we just want to commend Spangle on the most successful, the most entertaining, the most darn tiredest I've been in a long time weekend I've ever seen. Fantastic job. What's your thoughts on a Monday morning, Spangle?
What's my thoughts on the Monday? Is today Monday?
There you go, folks.
I didn't know it was Monday. I didn't know it was another day. Is it over?
It's getting close.
Yeah, man, I think it was great. I think we had a good time. I think everybody was talking about how much fun they had. Just trying to gear up and get ready to do it again.
That's what I said. Just think, we get to do it all again
Oh.
this week. Whee!
All over again.
Yep, for sure. Rex, anything you want to ask Spangle?
Well, you know, and
Take a
I'll be
shower?
honest with you. Yeah, please.
Take a shot.
No, for the first time, and at least as long as I've known Spangle, yesterday, towards the close of the school, right, we had our panel discussion going on, and there were some thank yous being made to all the staff that works behind the scenes that helped put this on and all that. And we popped up and did a great big thank you to Spangle. And for the first time since I've known him, he was speechless.
Ain't happening again. I got a plan.
But you did. You put on a fantastic event. Like I said, we get to do it. And you know, just like anything, there's going to be a few blunders, a few things you look back on and say, I wished I'd have done this or I wished I'd said that. We got a chance to do that this week.
So we can get a different AV guy in here?
There you go. Get rid of it.
All right.
We're just
Couldn't have
going
did it
to-
without
Scott.
Scott. Couldn't have did it without him.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't.
No, this one has been, this has been the best one so far. This school gets better every time it's done. It grows, I think.
Oh, I can't wait till next week then if it gets better.
It's going to be better next weekend. I'm looking forward to next year already.
All right. Good.
Because I don't know if you want to do it here, but I know you did it in the school.
Tell 'em.
Is the word's already out on who next year's keynote presenter is going to be for School of Santa's 2024? You want to do it or you want
No,
me to?
go ahead.
It's going to be the master himself, Jeff McMullen, will be in the
not
house.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Did I get Jeff?
I thought you did. Did I get it wrong?
No, I think you're right. Oh my gosh, I got
You
Jeff.
got Jeff.
Wow.
He's got Jeff coming in. Man, we are going, just our minds are going to explode, right?
I don't know what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna have 300 people in a room that holds 100.
And I got some preview information this weekend. I probably shouldn't talk about it because I do that a lot. But Jeff is working on some new stuff that is going to this game even more. And I can't do anything else but just
It's
keep
right here in Branson, Missouri.
Just keep that in mind.
Telling you, better every single time.
Yep.
I don't know how you keep topping yourself, but you do it, brother.
I don't know. Like we just came from the toy museum because we got free tickets.
Free.
Oh,
Hear
I
that,
thought
free,
you came out of the
Randy?
hospital with that blue band. on.
Randy,
No.
free.
Free! Woo!
Museum invited. With a few phone calls, we got invited to the.
It's free.
We got invited to the toy museum and free to come in and look and everything. And you won't believe this. There are toys that are actually older than me in there.
How about
Wow.
older than me?
That's pretty crusty.
That's pushing it.
That's pretty crusty, though.
Yeah, Krusty the Clown was there.
There you go. There you have it, folks.
Anyway, thanks for doing such a great job, man.
Man,
We
yeah.
all enjoy coming to this, even if you do work us to the bone and won't let us go eat till the food's cold and all that kind of stuff.
We got to take care of the paying customers first.
That's right. We're last in line. We're last to get through everything. But you know what? We wouldn't have it any other way.
But even though they are last, there is plenty of food for everyone.
Absolutely.
Hey, I took a whole pizza back to my room last night. That's just how much food there was.
Hey,
I
we
know-
were looking for that.
Oh,
I know Scott snuck out with a couple of boxes of chicken to take to his room.
I think
Tell all my
Scott
secrets, Rex.
was telling me, "Can you make me up a tray of meatloaf to go?"
and of course, now we didn't fill the whole hotel up, although Spangle has the complete conference center for 2 full weeks. Nobody else in here. But there are other guests in the hotel. We've had a fantastic time interacting with the children. Got to say, the other night we went up here to the buffet, that's where we went for lunch again today. Going to go back next Wednesday. We do a lot of that here. But there was a family that caught Spangle's eye, and he went over to talk to them. Little girl, how old would you say she is?
How about 5?
5 or 6. That's what I would say. 5 or 6. And he had her do the ho, 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 ho. Fantastic
In the
job.
restaurant.
She was so freaking cute, man. And she was just eating it up. So I'm headed to get me a big old plate of food. I have my salad, and I'm headed over, and Spangle grabs me and spins me around and says, "These folks are from North Texas." This is Santa Bob. He, lives in Dallas. So anyway, I stood there and talked to him for a few minutes. I went back to Spangle and I said, "Is there any way we can bring this family in tomorrow? Let that little girl come up in front of 108 Santa and Mrs. Clauses and do the ho ho?" He said, "Absolutely." We brought her in, brought her on stage, and her and Spangle had the time of their life.
And she did it. And then she even told the Santas, "Don't forget my house."
That's right. The last thing she said was, "Don't forget my house."
Oh man, that's fantastic.
So good. So good.
That's something I always remember.
We've had a fantastic time here at the American Inn, Wyndham in Branson, Tanger Center, 275 Tanger on top.
Tanger Boulevard.
Tanger Boulevard.
And like we could probably sneak a couple people into the next event if you hurry.
Other thing is that, Randall, that you don't realize is Spangle has this conglomeration of friends when they start to come help with the schools. And Spangle walks out in front of everybody and says, "I just don't know how I do this so effortlessly." Well, trust me, we all know how he does it so effortlessly.
Spangle,
thank you for having us.
Spangle don't ever say that.
But don't you like the way he qualifies those kind of statements?
Yeah.
All right, Randy, let's move along, guys. We harped on that long enough. Randy, take it from here, go all the way down, and we're going to sit back and let you take the rest of the show, and we'll slip in if we can.
Okay, guys. Great, guys. Incredible. It's just been so exciting hearing about that. I just feel crazy that I wasn't there, but there's so many things going on here. Of course, the Chatterbox News, of course, going on. We talked about it for a brief moment there. The North Pole next February, excuse me. The collaboration of Cornerstones, that'll be in February. So northstones.com. Don't forget to go there and you'll see what's going up. Of course, they're updating it all the time about what's going to be happening. Those two schools blending together. Like I said, don't miss it. It's going to be an event. Now, like Rex said, 3 days. 3 days is going to be for sure.
3 days, and look for a Facebook blast and an email blast coming out with some new and firmed up information within the next week.
That's phenomenal. I mean, that's why keep your eye peeled on Facebook, guys, and everything else. There'll be so much information. It's a thing. What a great way to go, especially in February. You've had a month to relax, and then boom, right back into the business in February. Then, of course, we've got actually coming up in 2 weeks. That's right, 2, not 3. 2 weeks is the Red Suit Conclave here in Saginaw, Michigan, put on by MAPS, Michigan Association of Professional Santas. It's 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, the 4th and the 5th and the 6th of August in Saginaw. And it's my favorite F word. It's free, all the classes. There's we have 11 different classes on Saturday and Sunday. Of course, you have to pay for your hotel, and there we go. Thank you, Angela. It's free. It's so that's coming up here on the first weekend in August, put on by MAPS. So you can register. You don't have to be a MAPS member to join. We've got about 85, I think, people signed up already. So we should hit way over 100 attending. So, and of course, there's going to be dealers tables. So a little bit of everything. So join us then. And of course, we've got coming up in March. I will put up the sign for Ben. The Masterclass Academy coming up in March. We talked about Lee Edwards and, of course, Jeff McMullen. Jeff McMullen's going to be at the School of Santas next year for 2 weeks as the guest speaker, but he's also doing a single class at the Master Class in Columbus in March. So, oh my goodness, just so much to choose from. But it's Lee Edwards one day and Jeff McMullen the next. Ben put up a thing. They're about 50% already sold out. So if you can get your tickets, join as soon as possible. And to let you know that there will be a scholarship for that also. So there will be a special thing we'll be doing. So somebody can win a free again, event to that. So that's coming up in March. So many schools to choose from. And each one of them are, again, have got their own uniqueness. So if you can save that holiday money, put some money aside for that. If you don't need some new suits next year, whatever you need, go to some schools. I mean, it's just the fun, the fellowship, the learning. All of them have all of that. So don't miss them and go to as many as you can. The people ask, I was a thing last week on Facebook thing, should I go to a school? What's the difference? There's so many different schools. It's hard to say which one to go to. There's so many great schools. There are so many, but don't miss schools. It's worth every penny. So that we've got there and masterclass. Of course, next week you guys get still School of Santa next week still. Bob and they'll be doing this next week on the show. They'll be doing. Oh, we're trying to stay awake. They'll be trying to stay awake next week after another full week of this. They're doing real good. I'm very surprised.
We've already all had that problem at times during this last week. We'd be sitting there, and the next thing you know, we go.
Well, it gets tough when you work all day real hard at this, and you go over and have cobbler and ice cream just before you go to bed.
Cobbler and ice cream before you go to bed. That's better than milk and cookies before you go to bed. I'm sorry.
That's just rude, isn't it?
Oh man. And I'm not there. Yeah, great. Thanks, guys. You know who I'm talking about. Better move on. Of course, we got to talk about Tuesday Night Live, guys. Yep, we got to talk about Tuesday Night Live because that still goes on. Of course, they're going to be doing all the special events coming from Branson there. Scott and Rex and Bob and Mel and everybody else is going to be all doing all the special live events from there next week again from on Tuesday Night Live. So don't miss that, guys. The 18th, of course, the 18th and the 20th is going to be that going on. Then the 25th, Tuesday the 25th is going to be the big recap show. And they've got to talk about 2 weeks. 2 weeks of Branson. There'll be so much to talk about, even though Bob and Rex talked about things today. That's just a small portion about what happened. Just a few little words about, and there'll be special guests about it anyway, talking about it. Don't miss the 25th about the huge recap. And I'm going to be going, I wasn't there.
And probably as part of that recap, we're going to have one of the newest Santas who has graduated SOS pop in for us for a little bit.
Oh, fantastic. See, they're going to be special guests, guys, so you can't miss the 25th.
Actually, I got a text from Angela earlier. She also texted Scott because she didn't think I was paying attention, right? We're going to ask Santa AJ to come in at the end of the show for just a moment. So just a little bit this afternoon, but we'll have him back on the recap show.
Sure, come on. It's going to be, so don't miss the 25th. There's so much to hear about for 2 weeks. 2 weeks of the school. So that'll be on the 25th. Then, yes, guys, can you hard to believe it's going to be August 1st already. Tuesday night, August 1st. Wow, you know how close that is to the season? That's like, it's like getting scary almost, close to the season already. That day will be Sean Marshall White, vintage Mrs. Claus. Sean does such a fantastic job. She does an amazing job on TikTok, amazing job on Instagram. She really knows how to market herself, besides some wonderful, fresh ideas. And that's what Rex said earlier. You had a panel with 3 Mrs. Clauses on there because they are just like sharp as tacks now, and they add so much to the presentation of the holiday business. And we're so thankful for them, and they can be a part of it so much more. What a great thing. So Sean White will be here then on the 1st. Then we've got some other special guests in between, but then August 22nd is our favorite friend, everyone's friend, Scott Parker. Yes, from day one, Scott's been hanging around. And of course, we all know, we always tease Scott about the Scott Parker rule about being in timeout, like Rex just was a moment ago because he wanted to answer the question, but Rex knows he's in timeout. Scott's been a Santa for years, and so he's great to listen to and to be a part of. But it's just nonstop again, guys. And I'll say it. I know you guys don't like me here to say it again, but Tuesday nights are free. They're free, guys. All you got to sit back and watch. You put that phone on, you put that tablet on, you put YouTube on, which is even cooler, on that 60-inch television. Like, how big is yours, Rex? 75-inch television?
75. Mine's a 75. I'm an old guy, bad eyes.
Wow, that's 75. Yeah. You're gonna go blind on a 75. That's it is so cool to sit back and watch it on there. Besides, it helps the click bit to watch it on there, but you can watch it at your leisure. So and it's there whenever you want to laugh, to cry, to be a part of it, to learn something. It's always there, and that's, man, I'm just amazed about what's been done for Tuesday Night Live, considering 2 weeks ago did the 100th episode. Just phenomenal, guys. So don't miss Tuesday Night Live. So much going on. You guys, Scott, everybody, Angela, Bob's wife, Carol, you guys are all been so much work involved with this stuff. Nobody really knows how much work and time goes involved. So we all can benefit, and we all benefit on this.
Yep. Same for you, though. You are as much of this as the rest of us. Which, while I got a moment, I just want to say, I may be putting you on the spot here, but you were supposed to have been on this coming a Thursday night show, and you're not able to travel down right now, and so we still want you to be part of the show. Can you come in and join us via Skype? No, not Skype, but StreamYard.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
And
we got everybody here. We want you to be included. We want you, to be in on the Thursday show. So anyway, continue on, my friend.
Okay, so that takes us to we have and also on there we have coming up. We don't have the dates exactly set, but we have, of course, Santa Lauren Jensen's gonna be back on. Talk more about his shed, which is a phenomenal thing what he's put together the last few years. And besides, just a great Santa. Lauren here is from Michigan area, for part of Maps. And Diana Bin, did I say it right? Bean.
Take the V and the N, and it's VN.
VN?
Say the two letters. VN.
VN. Oh wow! So you skipped the vowels, huh?
Absolutely. She gave us all a lesson this week.
That's cool, Diane. Thank you that's a unique way to pronounce it. I like that a lot. VN. Of course, she'll be a part of the Tuesday Night Live coming up too. We don't have the exact dates down, but oh, good. Thanks, Diane. Sorry, I didn't mean to mess your last night up. I apologize. But I'm glad you're going to be a part of the Tuesday Night Live. We'd love to hear everything about you. It's going to be fantastic. I know it will.
And there was a couple of others I spoke to. I'm going to have to get out the group picture and go back through and remember who I talked to. With 100+ people here and all the conversations I've had this week. Hey, I'm getting old. What can I say? But
join us. We'll be updating every week, guys. So join us on Monday, of course, Tuesday. Excuse me, and we will be updating you guys on a regular basis to see who the new Tuesday Night Live guests are going to be. You guys and
Rex and I have been, and all of us have been coming back here to our little table and eating in privacy during the meals and stuff. And we asked Lauren to come back yesterday and sit down with us. And Rex and I had how long did we sit there and talk to Lauren?
Oh, over an hour.
Over an hour about what he wants to talk about on this next show. He is going to cover the shed. He's going to cover every aspect of the layout, the spreadsheets, everything. And the cool part is he has got one of the most fantastic backstories. Where does he come up with this?
I don't know. I as long as I've been doing this and all the Santas I talk to and know all across the country, I have heard literally hundreds, if not thousands of the guys' backstories. Because we all play them off each other and try to help each other with them. When I was in Gatlinburg, when Lauren gave me his backstory, and I'm going to tell you, it is probably one of the most intricate, complete, and intertwined backstories. He's got it tied into actual historical events, actual biblical events. There's a little Star Wars kind of thing in it. It's the most amazing thing I've ever heard. Wow. And I see it as a great educational opportunity for the audience to hear. He'll give us a little of the background of how he got to come up with this story and how it's still a growing, evolving, living backstory. But it's one of the most unique and intricate ones I've ever heard. And I think everyone can benefit from what Lauren has put together.
Yep, for sure. So anyway, I just told him after I got through this week, I would get with him. He's got some dates that are blocked already. We've got some dates that we've got, a couple of guests already lined up for. So we're going to get a date penciled in for him. Same thing with Diane. I had a chance to sit down with Diane quite some time yesterday, day before, last night. We talked multiple times, and going to get her a pencil date to pencil to paper is what I'm trying to say. So fantastic time we've had here. Made new friends, met old friends, and
Got rid of a few too.
got rid of a few. And like I said, got a whole nother week to do it all down again. So
I'm not sure who that Facebook user is.
who is this, Angela? If you want to type it in for me, who that Facebook user was? Because
It's Ron McLam.
oh yes, Ron. We already got you. I've already got you on. That was one that we did not put on this week's schedule, but I've got Ron penciled in already. I had him on my schedule, and I'll go pull it up right now while Randy is giving out the trivia answers.
Okay, guys, the trivia answer, of course, the question was, name the founders of Santa Nana Holiday University and Santa and the Business of Being Santa. That was the question, trivia question today to win. And, of course, the answers are Lucky Rosa from Santa Nana and Gordon Bailey from Sat Bob's. Of course, that shortens Santa and Doing Business. I know we had a winner earlier. I saw in there. There you go. Oh, Ben's the winner. Isn't Ben not timeout? Ben's on time. Well, congratulations, Ben. Fantastic. So,
and Lucky's last name, Randy, is pronounced Royce.
Royce. Oh, so okay. So it's a. Thank you.
Old eyes. You've got the same problem I do, Randy.
I got nothing up here either. That's the problem. It's take a look. Can you see my backdrop through there?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we got Ron McLam on August 8th. That'll be the week after Sean Marshall White. The week after that, which is not on today's updated version either, but we have Matt Spalding lined up for August 15th. Scott Parker on the 27th. So our next open date was August 29th. We're filled up through August 22nd.
Great. Matt Spalding does a great podcast also. It's really interesting what he's done too. And he's a designer beard Santa. So Matt'll be a lot of fun.
And little Birdie told me that Spangle's going to be on his show here coming up pretty quick. So he's reached out to Spangle to get Spangle on to talk about all things Spangle.
Oh boy. That's going to be a long show. That'll be an interesting podcast here about.
I have to do that one in 2 sessions.
Well, that'd be so. That might be the first for Matt, right?
3 episodes.
All right. You know what? Rex, do you feel it?
I do, man.
I feel a magic moment coming on.
Ooh, ouch! I hope it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Randy, don't figure out how to make them disappear yet.
Like I said, I wanted to meet you guys down there, Scott, to show me how to do that. I just, I'm sorry to say I can't do that. Because, you can't do it over this. Too many people are hearing how the trick is done. So I wanted to do it live. To show me how to, I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out.
I kind of figured out how I'm going to do it, but, it's.
All right, Angela, roll the lead in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome, and thank you so much for letting me be able to do the magical moments again. Always my pleasure, and just have such a great time, and thankful for every moment I can. I just want to show you a couple props that I've used throughout the years that kind of can add some magic to. I'm not going to do a whole routine about it because we are going really long already, but it's a thing called a drawer box. This is actually a magic prop, and I just put some fancy magic stickers on, and what you do is you just open it up and you show that it's empty. Maybe I can't do it that way. There we go. Show that it's empty. And then what you do is you have them children do something. The children ask you how to get the magic there, the toys there so fast. You just open it up and it's filled with toys. It's called a drawer box, and it's filled with, you can fill with anything. It's a special magic trick, but this is a large one. And in fact, Michael Howe has a phenomenal one. One of his students hand painted one of these, which was a fantastic little thing. If you're doing a show as Santa, it's a lot of fun because you can really make a prop look special. But the reason why I really wanted to show you more about is you can use a small one. It's called, again, it's a magic trick called a drawer box, and it shows that it's empty. And I've added a little thing called Santa's meter, and you can pretend you're checking to see if they're nice or, of course, naughty. You push it in, and of course, then you open it up, and you can make things appear. Like, and these are artificial candy canes, so they don't go bad over the year. But it's another way to add a little bit of magic and a little entertainment to giving something away. Something like this is very small. It costs $6 or something on eBay or from a magic store. But it's a very easy little trick. It's something that you pretty much got when you were young. You can show it empty. Of course, you can see there's a drawer in there. I shouldn't show it that much, but it's a great little trick just to add just a little bit of fun to a little bit of magic to what you're doing with the children. Now, like I said, you don't always have to do magic, because the magic comes from here anyway, and we know that's the biggest part. It comes from our heart and comes from our mind. Even things that children think about are magical. I know I showed you people. I know you showed this before about people have seen. You guys have seen the hand warmers. I think it's a very magical thing. For most children don't know anything about the hand warmers. Of course, you can pick them up at Hobby Lobby, and you ask the children if you hold it, tells them if they're good or not. Of course, you just push your hand there. Of course, the warmth of your hand goes up. Of course, they get excited because they're on the good list. But because it's something so different, we can take something that you can get at Hobby Lobby for, I think, about $8 and add it to a fancy little box to make it look like it's something special that Santa has had since the beginning of time. And like Rex was saying about Lauren's backstory, make a backstory about it, and then a prop is not just a glass hand warmer. It's now a complete routine. And that's what we've been trying to talk about the past few weeks, about getting your mind thinking about what you can do to entertain the children, what you can do to build that deeper belief of Santa and things going on. See if I can get that. Oh yeah, that can fill up rather quickly on my hot hands. Oh, it's even bubbling. I mean, so that's what you can really say. Oh, look at how wonderful you are. Look at it bubble. Of course, you can make the story as big as you want to about just these little hand warmers. It's just, so it doesn't have to be a big prop like I showed you with the drawer box. It could be just something like little this. And that's what makes Santa more magical and more believable in the children's hearts and minds. Just keep that going a little longer, like we need to do, because I tell you, the way the world is out there, sometimes we need that longer belief, and we would love to keep children to be as happy and as and childlike. And I guess that's probably the neat world, more childlike, for as long as we can, because we know children grow up way too fast. But if we can keep that a little longer, that's what I just care about doing. Just keep that belief and that fun a little, just even if it's a year longer. We've done our job, and that's why I feel I'm happy if I can do that. So if I can take some little prop like that, and make them believe one more thing, or that they've never even seen before, or turn it into a story. Remember, that's why we've used our minds so much sometimes as Santa, to think like a child. Don't be childish, but childlike, and think about things. Look at it in their eyes. I remember when things first came out about looking at a camera. Most You would have a big Nikon camera. Children aren't used to that. They're used to seeing this as a camera. So it's what the children are used to, and they're not used to seeing those things. So we can take it any way we want to as Santa. Use our mind, use our heart, use our imagination to make that as magical and as fun as possible. That's what I like to do. And that's kind of what the challenge is about. take a few moments. We've extended that up till July 24th. So wait till July. Send in to me if you can. I am me a little 30-second. Minute, whatever it might be, what you've thought of, and you've connected with other Santas, but something that you came up with. If it's something to do with the thumb tip, if it's something to do with a big story about oops, that's backwards, a kaleidoscope. Now that's just a kaleidoscope, but how many children really know what a kaleidoscope is? And you can make a great story. So send me a quick little clip. Get that those magical and those imagination juices flowing. Send me them, and then on and I think it's the 7th of August we will have you on the show to perform and to show what you've got, even if it's just a video. But we just want you to be on, because it's getting so close to 160 days, and it's over 160 days in Christmas already. So most of us are probably starting maybe 100 days from now are starting. So we have to have all this new. Oops, there's my kitty, magically appeared. Thank you again, guys. I just can't be more blessed and more lucky to be a part of part of this. Thank you. I'll see you soon for more magical moments. Kitty.
Now, during that presentation, I got a vision in my head of Randy in the late 1880s, 1890s, pulling up into a little western town in a buggy, a covered roll-around motorhome, you might call it, being pulled by a couple of donkeys, pots and pans banging on the side, and props hanging everywhere. And he steps out and he says, "Give me 5 minutes and I'll make you a believer."
Maybe I sold snake oil when I was back then. I don't know. Maybe I did.
Big top hat, of course, the tailcoat. I can just see it. I can see it. Good job, Randy, as always.
Always great.
Fantastic,
I love
man.
these magical
I was
moments.
over here up on Rex's. He's got more toys than I ever thought about.
I'm still trying to find a Shire rod cover and an infinity mirror to put in a bag.
We're about 6 months behind on our props here.
Hey Rex, I just got a.
You guys got it there and there, so that's what you need. You guys got it there more than.
All right,
you guys got it there.
Scott,
I just got a question. Want to know what the meaning behind trusty horse was on your.
I'm his pack mule. I'm his. You've seen the old westerns of the Lone Ranger and his trusty steed.
Tonto?
No, the horse.
Oh,
Silver. Sorry.
No, I think he's just calling you a mule. I think is what he is. You're, so throw the stuff on your back and get on, boy.
This goes back to Gatlinburg when he kicked me up the elevator to get me on with the Monday show that day. he was carrying stuff, had his cane. He wasn't even using his cane. It was across his arm. He was dragging stuff with him. That's what we wrote in 5 minutes to airtime. But Rex is always good for everything, like I said. All right, so right here, right now, Angela, bring in Santa AJ so we can congratulate him. And Rex and Scott can tell the story here, but AJ's mom says he sometimes has a hard time paying attention. Okay, sometimes has a hard time paying attention. This young man right here sitting in class every moment, all day long, taking notes, paying attention. And any time that you mention Bob Randyl, Tuesday Night Live show, recap show, you name it, you'll get the biggest smile in the world from him. But the biggest smile he got when he received his diploma, Santa AJ.
Yes, he is now official.
Congratulations, AJ. Congratulations, man. Wow.
What you got to say for yourself, AJ?
I learned so much. It was amazing. I'm coming back next year for sure.
Uh-oh. We got to do it all over again next year, right? So it looks like you guys haven't made it home yet.
Not yet. We're stopping tonight, so.
Well, that's good. It was a long week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How's mom and dad holding up?
Mom, can I give it to you? They're doing good.
They're good. I hear you back here, Connie.
All right.
Now, I have one question for you, AJ.
Yes, Rex.
Do your cheeks hurt yet from smiling so much?
No.
Okay, you keep it up, man. Keep the jolly.
Thank you guys for having me.
Keep that smile, AJ. That was fantastic. I love to have seen you.
Tracy said it was good to meet you, AJ.
Oh, thanks, Tracy.
So you guys be safe, AJ.
All right, we'll do.
All right.
Safe
And
travels
we
home.
look forward to the next time we can get together.
All right, bye, guys.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye. Bye.
Ah.
Bye, Mom, Dad. Yep, fantastic. He got here and he was just all smiles, and I don't know that he ever stopped smiling, did he?
No, that's why I was asking about his
Yeah,
cheeks.
he was.
Because for 4 solid days, I don't think that smile went away.
He got to meet
Even when he went to bed.
Yeah, and real quick, he smiled the whole weekend. He got to meet all these folks that he's looked up to, and he truly does look up to all of us because in his mind we're all legends. You know, in our own minds we're all legends, right? But I mean, in his mind we really are all legends, and he's such a well-mannered, fine young man. He got a great future ahead of himself, and he so much wants to be, be able to perform as Santa, and he paid attention. He took notes. Him and his dad sat down there the whole weekend, and it was a fantastic time. Now, there was one little incident. We had the whole hotel looking for AJ's Tuesday Night Live cap. He walks in when he got here the other day. He comes straight to our booth and says, I want my 2 hats and my shirt, please. We gave him his 2 hats. He put one on, gave his mama the other one, and he went and put his shirt on. And he wore that shirt. Love the shirt, love the hat. So after the show the other night, he sat here with Rex. He had his hat on. He left. About 15 minutes later, him and his dad showed up down at the cobbler and ice cream room. The next morning he comes in, and that's probably the only time he wasn't smiling all weekend. And I thought the poor boy was going to break down and cry, but he lost his Tuesday Night Live hat. Couldn't find it anywhere.
The black one. He got a black and a red. And we had us all looking.
I went to the front desk. They hadn't recovered one. The maintenance man here, one of the maintenance men says, we'll be on the lookout for it. Shortly after that, the maintenance man came to me and says, did you find the young man's hat? We said, no, still haven't found it. He says, I'll buy him another one.
Now, this is the maintenance guy at the hotel, not even a Santa.
Yeah.
Okay.
But AJ's mom and dad went on a search, got to looking, and AJ's mama, Connie, actually found it inside the shirt he had on the night before. And when he took it off to put it in the dirty clothes, the hat came off with it.
It was in the dirty clothes.
It was in the dirty clothes. The last place you're going to look, right? But we did realize as a committee that he had it on when he left the Tuesday Night Live studio. And when he came down for cobbler, he didn't have it on. And he had changed shirts. So process of elimination.
And when he came back with it on, that smile was back and huge
right
again.
There.
So
right there.
Fantastic. See, so many incredible stories from that. That Tuesday Night Live on the 25th is going to be, it's going to go over a couple hours just hearing about everything that day.
Hey, we've almost done that today. I mean, and I know some of our viewers probably get tired of hearing it, and we're sorry. We'll apologize up front if so. We're enthusiastic. We've had a great time here. It's such a brotherhood. It's not so much about the school as it is being with your friends, sharing stories. I mean, the school is very important. Believe me, it's everything. This is where we get our education. It's where we continue to learn new and better ways of performing and serving the families that we do serve. The children are the beneficiaries. I say that a lot. But, it's a brotherhood and sisterhood that we have here. And the Clauses, I guarantee you there's not another family on this earth that has better friends than the Clauses.
And Bob, for the viewers, don't forget to kind of keep in tune because I think you're going to go live and do some interviews this week. We we're getting our feet wet last week, and I think we got things under control. And I think you can take the mic and do the handheld a little bit and do some cut-ins and do a few interviews this week.
Be more like Gatlinburg as far as the coverage goes. This first week,
without everybody getting seasick.
Yeah, without everybody getting seasick. We've got the tripod and stuff set up, but and the new camera that kind of threw us for a little bit of a loop till Rex got that straightened out. But setup was tough this year. I mean, Monday through Wednesday and even Thursday morning.
We were still doing things.
Thursday morning, registration hadn't even been set up yet, and we were supposed to start registering at 10:30. So, I mean, for 2 hours, we're setting registration up. Last minute, I realized that Spangle had added so much new stuff to the registration that me and Carol wasn't going to be able to do it by ourselves. Wow. And the first guy I saw was this man right here. And as always, he jumped right in. He didn't care if it was on fire. He didn't care if there was no fire extinguisher. He jumped in, and him and Carol did the brunt of the work. You know, I find ways to get out of work.
Well, you had to come help me part of the time.
Well, and that's what it was. It wasn't that I was trying to get out of work. I had other duties. This year, my role has expanded here at School of Santas. I'm the gopher. You know, we went with Spangle two different days back up to Springfield. You would not believe a whole trailer full of food that we brought back. Still had to go back for more, and still going to have to go back for more for this next week.
Now, just imagine this crew: Spangle, Jetta, Bob, and I don't know who all else was there. Spangle's niece, right? And they're going through Sam's Club. They've got 10 shopping carts and 2 of the flat trolleys.
Just one flat trolley.
One flat trolley and 10 shopping carts full of food and stuff for this school. For, you know, doing the conga line through.
That was our own parade.
Through Sam's Club and through checkout.
Yeah, it was Jetta, Spangle, Carol, my wife, and myself. So the 4 of us. And we would fill up a basket, take it to the front. The store manager said, "Stage it here." You know, it was unbelievable. It was an all-day trip.
And back on that registration, Angie just popped it up there for us. And somebody else we pulled in to help was AJ, sitting at the head of the table, passing out these free books that Shirley brought for everybody to have. And wristbands. He was up there doing that, helping out. Even AJ jumped in and did what had to be done.
Yep.
So he's fully a part of this community.
Yep, fantastic. And as I've said several times, we get to do it again all over this week.
And it's free.
All right, Randy, man. I hope you're having a good time up there. I know you're wishing you was here. We wish you were here. So many folks asked about you all week long. Of course, Angela's at home. They leave in a couple of days. They'll be headed down this way. It'll be a fantastic time this next week. Just watch out because we're going to pop in, pop out. We're going to be doing interviews. We're going to have a lot more stuff coming your way. Live from Branson 2023, second week here in Missouri. Guys, wrap it up.
Well, hey, look forward to seeing everybody next year. And if you hadn't signed up, there's still a few places this week. So get those bags packed and head to Branson, right?
And we get a whole new bunch of people in here this week, new faces.
Right.
85, 86, close to 90 more people coming.
We can use the same material because it's all new again.
It's all new again.
Well, hey, glad you joined us. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's been a blast. You know, folks, I was always just a guest.
Now you're an anchor.
Thanks to Bob walking away. You know, and this has been great this week. Helping out, working with these guys on these shows, helping them get the technology. You know, I'm going to put myself down as TNL Productions IT support or tech support.
He's our engineer. This is what Rex's background is. He is an engineer, computer, you name it, mechanical, cars, computers.
And I want to put one other thing. We need to wish Rex's great granddaughter happy birthday.
That we do. Oh, can you?
What?
Can you share that photo, or is it too much for you?
That might be much.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she turned 1 while he was here, so we want to wish her a very happy birthday. 1 year old.
Yes, yesterday.
Here's the situation, folks. Rex is down here, and his great grandbaby turned 1. That's tough. That's hard. He wished he could be home, but he had commitments here. And you know what? He got to see her before he left. And he's going to get to see her when he gets home.
Yep.
So, all right, Angela, roll us out of here. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you Thursday night, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, back here next Monday. Gosh, it just keeps rolling on and on and on. Thank you so much, Randy. Great job.
Thank you, guys.
Goodbye.
Love you, Randy.
Thank you, guys.
Love you,
Scott,
everybody
Rex, Angela, Bob. Thanks, guys. And everybody watching. Bye-bye.